And if that's the only item on this list that we lost money on, by gosh darn it, then we did pretty good. My family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook. Sometimes I go picking with my boyfriend, sometimes it's my best friend Sue, and sometimes it's my kids. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and hopefully just maybe making a profit. By the time you guys are seeing this video, I am somewhere in Texas digging up relics from the ground. But I wanted to bring you guys all a sold video. So we are going to be traveling 21 days back in time and revisiting the past 21 days worth of Etsy sales. So just as a reminder, this is gross profit. So we are not talking taxes, we are not talking fees, we are just talking gross profit here. Honestly, it's just too much work to be doing all those calculations for the sake of this video. I will also add that I don't do this full time. I know my viewers know that, my regular viewers, but those of you who are just tuning in for this video, this is not a full-time job for me. I just do this part-time for fun. I just enjoy the thrill of treasure hunting and going out to these shops and finding treasure. That's what I love. And so, without further delay, let's talk about some of the things that have sold in my Etsy shop for the past 21 days. And at the end of this video, I will put a number up here of my gross profit for the past 21 days. So, here we go. Now, 21 days ago, I sold a ceramic green deer. That deer had been so popular. As soon as people saw the video, they wanted to buy it, but it had already sold because I'd already listed up in my Etsy shop before even posting the video. I paid $2 for the deer and it actually sold for $14. So I will be putting the calculation up here of what I paid for it, what it sold for, and the profit. So you can see that all up here. But anyway, the next thing that sold was actually a pair of Chinese candlesticks. They weren't terribly old, but Sue had actually picked them up while we were out and about, and they were just blue floral white porcelain candlesticks. Nothing special. I think she paid $4 for them, and they sold for $12.95. Again, nothing spectacular with those, but moving on. You guys probably remembered the wall ducks, and come to find out, I didn't know this when I had filmed the video, but they were made by Homeco, I guess in the 80s. So they weren't actually mid-century modern, but to me they looked mid-century and I was so excited. But I think they were Homeco from the 1980s, and they sold. They did. I paid $1 a piece for all three of them, and they sold for $30. So I made $27 on those. Milk glass vanity trays. That was the day that Andrew and I went to the Goodwill, and I think we spent $120 in like 3 hours at the Goodwill. And I picked up these milk glass vanity trays that I normally avoid because the paint just gets so worn and chippy on them, and normally they don't look that great, but these ones actually, there was a little itty bitty one and then there was a bigger one, and they were matching, and I grabbed them, and I paid more than I would have liked. I paid $9 for them, but those sold for $35, so that was nice. Oh, okay, so the savers, when we went to Rhode Island, we were actually there for a metal detecting event. You guys know I have my other channel, Relic Recoverist, and we travel a lot for that channel. We had gone to Rhode Island for a metal detecting event, and while we were there, we went to some savers to film videos for this channel. And we were there, and I found a creamer and sugar while I was there, and they were made in Bavaria. Paid too much for them. I mean, savers prices are just outrageous. I'm constantly complaining about savers. But we paid $6. We paid $3 for the creamer, $3 for the sugar. Sold those for $28. They were very, very, very nice quality. So I was pleased with those. Sold those for $28. So a pair of Famille Rose candlesticks, which I didn't purchase very long ago. That was just a couple videos ago. They were not terribly old, but they were a nice pair of candlesticks. Those sold for $18. I don't have here listed what I paid for those, but again, I'll put that up here. a little white kitten. It was a Nesco, a little white Nesco kitten. It was 1989, I think. Just darling. I paid $2 for that, and that sold for $18. So, oh, the Andy Shaw mugs. Those were just like such a freak accident because we were in the community aid. I was there with, was I with Sue? Or I think I was with Sissy maybe. And we were going up and down the aisles, and I had been up and down the aisle like 20 times. And I'd never gone to the very, very end of the aisle. And so finally, like on our last trip up and down the aisle, I finally went to the very end. And with all of the like flower pots and stuff, there were these really, really high quality pottery mugs. I guess they thought they were flower pots, but they were mugs, and they were nice, high quality. So as it turns out, they were marked, and the mark belonged to an artist named Andy Shaw, and he has a number of awards and a number of like ceramic magazines have acknowledged him. Very, very nice work. And anyway, so I was able to find 4 of his mugs for $2 a piece, I believe I paid, and they were just beautiful. And I could tell when I picked them up, there's just a feeling of a quality piece. It was the weight of them and just, I don't know, the balance of them. And so I put them in the cart for $2 a piece, and on his website, I was able to find his website. He has similar mugs. I think these were maybe some of his earlier mugs. They sell on his website for $50 a piece. So I sold the 4 of mine for $20 a piece. I thought that was fair because I'm not the original artist. So I sold them for $20 a piece. So bought them for 2, sold them for $20 a piece, but they were absolutely beautiful. Moving along. Okay, the TARDIS purse. The TARDIS purse was another thing that just people went crazy for. And what was funny about the TARDIS purse was Andrew and I were out, and I don't always look at purses, but I look a lot closer at purses after that day, but not because of the TARDIS purse, because of the other purse that I found there, but we'll get to that. The TARDIS purse, when I entered it in my Etsy store, and I do this a lot, so if you guys purchase from me and you notice that my shipping is off, send me a message, because when I entered the TARDIS purse, I put the wrong weight. Like for some reason, it was like, I meant to put 2 pounds and I accidentally hit another number. So it was like 20 something pounds, and the shipping was insane on it. And so it was in everybody's cart, but nobody was buying it because the shipping was so crazy. And somebody finally bought it, and I was looking at the shipping and I'm like, why is that so crazy? And I refunded her the extra shipping, but it was insane shipping. So I paid $5 for the TARDIS purse. I sold it for $32 plus outrageous shipping, which I refunded the difference, which I do when I calculate wrong, because I do it all in my head by the weight of the objects and whatnot. And those of you who have purchased from me and know that I do refund when it's overage. Okay, a measuring set. It was a measuring cups and measuring spoons. It was flowers, very, very cute. I had bought those for $5 and sold them for $38. They were ceramic. I don't think they were necessarily vintage, but they had a very vintage appeal to them. They were really nice. Now I got this giant coffee tray. It was metal. It was a huge coffee tray, and I had it for the longest time because I had to find a box to ship it. Because I buy these like pieces of art and stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna hold on to it until I get a box to ship it. And that was the case with this coffee tray. I don't have what I paid for it on here, but I'll put it up here. It sold for $25. Next I have the No Evil owls. You guys might remember them. It was speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. I paid $10 for those. And I also replaced the batteries in all of those. I think that was another like $7. So I had $17 or something into them. I sold those for $40. So the Garfield mugs, I paid $3 for 5 Garfield mugs and sold those for $24. All right, the Williamsburg throw. It was just a throw blanket. I paid $6.50, sold that for $40. It was Goodwill Weavers or something like that. It was really nice, good quality. Now, when I buy linens and textiles, I always give them a good smell. I know that sounds crazy, but it's important because sometimes, you know, that if they're in a smoker's home, you want to make sure that they don't smell like smoke. So when you're buying them, you know, you want to smell them. I know that sounds gross, but just make sure that they don't stink, because if you're going to resell them, it might be hard to get rid of whatever smells are on them. So I always, yeah, but that was just really clean and really nice, and it looked like it hadn't even hardly been used. So that was nice. I bought this elephant mug, and the trunk was actually the handle. I can't talk, I need coffee, I think. I bought this elephant mug, and I paid $1 for that and sold it for 10. Now, in the same video where I bought the TARDIS purse, I bought these gazelles. I think they were gazelles. They might have been impalas. I don't know what they were, but they were these figures that probably were on a mantle or something. They were either Art Deco or mid-century, but they kind of spanned that era. They were absolutely awesome. Stunning ceramic. And I bought them for $8, sold them for $75. They were just so cool. Moving right along, the Daisy tea set. Now, I had bought that with Sue, and I can't remember what I paid for that. I don't have it written down here. That sold for $20. The trivets, I had bought these. Every time I come across them, I believe they're made in South America, possibly, but it's even possible they're made in like the Philippines or something. But they're very colorful trivets, and they're made from grasses or something, and they're dyed, very colorful. Now, I can usually pick them up for $1 a piece, and they sell between $4 and $5 a piece. So I had bought 3 of those. I sold them for $16. Now, the telephone cord purse. I bought that the same day that I bought the TARDIS purse, and it is a vintage 1940s purse that has spiral telephone cord, different colors on the outside. What's really cool about that purse is somebody had commented on my video that there is a similar purse in some purse museum somewhere, a bigger version of that. So it is just like such a cool purse. When they sent me a video tour of this museum, and sure enough, there is a telephone cord purse in that museum. So cool. And I just happened to find this at the Community Aid. Not even behind the Community Aid is like a local thrift shop to us. Not even behind the shelf. They always have the silliest, not worth anything stuff behind the shelf. You know, it's always, the good stuff is always out. And that's where I found it. And I paid $4 for it. That sold for $85. And I had people in the comments like, "You're expecting to get $85 for that? Are you crazy? That's only worth 20 bucks. Guess what? It sold for $85. And that's how much it was worth. That is how much those purses sell for. Like, hands down, that is what they sell for in that size. Now, if you have a larger size telephone cord purse, you're talking hundreds of dollars. And I'm not just saying this is what people are asking for them. I'm saying this is what they sell for. This is what people are buying them for. Hundreds of dollars. So, oh gosh. Okay, moving on. We're not even gonna talk about that because this is a sold video. Let's talk about that. Okay, where are we on my list? I should have worn my glasses for this. Okay, the cottage teapot. It was this made in Japan. This is the one where Drew and I were at the Goodwill, and I couldn't read the bottom, so I'm trying to scrape off the Goodwill sticker and hope that none of the employees come over and yell at me. It was a little cottage teapot. We paid $2. It sold for $15. Next is the Northwood bowl. It was blue opalescent. It was the Klondike pattern. A very nice bowl. I love glassware. I have too much of it. That's why I just buy it to sell it now. But occasionally I do hoard it. Paid $4 for that and sold it for $18. Now, the Shoten casserole. This was a casserole dish that I had actually purchased this quite a while ago, and I don't even know if I have the footage. I don't even know what video I was from, but it was this little casserole dish, and I don't remember how much I paid for it. I sold it for 22. I think I lost money on this. I bought it in an antique shop, and I honestly think I lost money on that. When it sold, I was like, you know, I think I lost money, but it sat and it sat and it sat, and it just kept dropping the price. And then at the end of it, when it sold, I was like, yeah, I think I lost money on that one, but it's okay. We made up our money elsewhere, and it went to somebody who could appreciate it, and that's what matters. So, and if that's the only item on this list that we lost money on, by gosh darn it, then we did pretty good. The pineapple Majolica bowl that I got at the Savers. Now, again, hate Savers. The prices are insane. But I paid $10 for this Majolica bowl. And I knew I could make more on it. I still felt like $10 was way too much to be paying at a thrift store. But I was just pleased that it wasn't overpriced, because a lot of the stuff we were seeing was priced more than it was worth. In this case, it wasn't priced more than it was worth, but it was priced more than I would expect thrift stores to have it priced at. So I paid $10 for this pineapple Majolica bowl. It had the plate to go with it. Sold that for $40. And then we got this little metal Victorian trinket dish. I believe that was made in Japan or made in China. That had sold for $12. The little chubby owl bookend. He was delightful. I really liked him. I paid $4 for him, and he sold for $24. Okay, got 2 more pages here. I told you I should have done a sold video last week. I'm sorry guys, I was behind. Okay, the Indiana glass, it was a blue compote about this tall. You guys can't even see the table. It was about this tall. It was really big. It was 15 inches. And it was blue diamond point. And it was made by Indiana Glass Company. I had purchased that, again, in the $120 day that Drew and I spent at the Goodwill. We paid $5 for that, and it sold for $58. The owl bell. This was an owl that had this little chimey thing in it, and I don't know if it was a wind chime or if it was a bell, but that sold for $20. The milk glass mugs. Now I believe that this is the Eagle mugs that I recently sold. I actually had 2 sets of milk glass mugs that I sold recently. I think what I meant here was the Eagle mugs that I sold. They were actually larger mugs. I don't know if they were coffee mugs or if they were actually beer mugs, because they were larger. Usually the coffee mugs are down here, but these were taller. So it's possible that they were beer mugs. I paid $6 for those, and they sold for $24. The cat bookend, the little ceramic kitty bookend. It was a little white cat. Paid $2 for that, and it sold for $18. The deer mugs. Again, that $120 day, the deer mugs from that finally sold. Paid $1 a piece, so $2 for those. They sold for $14. The fire hydrant mug. It was a fire hydrant, a white ceramic fire hydrant with a lid, and that sold for $26. Now just recently I purchased another little deer, and this deer was made by Blue Mountain Pottery out of Canada, and on the back of it, it said Niagara Falls, Canada. And it took me a while of looking at it. Like, I actually filmed the haul video, and it wasn't until after I filmed the haul video that it occurred to me who the maker of this little deer was. Like, looking at the glaze and looking at the fact that it was redware, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who made that. So I made the haul video, and I should have known. I felt so silly because I'm like, I don't know who makes this. And then right after the haul video, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Blue Mountain Pottery. But it was a little deer. I paid $2 for that and sold it for $22. It was actually a fawn, because I was able to find Blue Mountain deer, but not fawn. So I was pretty pleased with that. The little Pyrex dishes, they were little orange dishes. I was so pleased with those dishes when I found those on the shelf. Because normally when you find the Pyrex, you know, it's faded, it's worn. But these were just vibrant tangerine orange, little refrigerator dishes. Paid $3 for both of them. They sold for $45. Now, one of the most beautiful pieces I've purchased recently was this vase, and it kind of faded into multicolors, and it had these cut marks in it that they were blue. It was, well, obviously I'm gonna put a picture up. It was just fabulous. Paid $5 for that, and it sold for $68. The quail planter I paid $2 for, and that sold for $24. Now the cat vase, I thought it was a cat vase. It was like this little sad cat with like lopsided ears that I purchased recently. I thought it was a vase, and then somebody suggested it was a creamer, which made so much more sense because like one ear was down and one ear was up, and it was just like the light went on, and oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a creamer. So I called it a cat vase. Turns out it's a cat creamer. I paid $3 for that, and it sold for $22. Also sold is the Italian compote apothecary jar, the most recent one. I buy and sell a lot of those, especially the lidded ones. I tend to keep the ones that don't have lids because why not? This one was teal, and I sold that one. It was just a recent purchase. That one sold for $52. And the Celadon ginger jar from Thailand, paid $6 for that, and it sold for $38. The dragon pitcher. Now I cannot remember when I bought that. I know I was with Juliet at the time. I want to say that we paid $9 for it. I remember it wasn't a whole lot, but I loved the dragon handle. And that sold for $45. And last but not least, the Fenton bells that I got at the Savers that I paid $10 for. I bought 3 of them for $10. Those sold for $35. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I think that pretty much covers everything that I've sold in the past 21 days. Now, granted, I probably should have done one of these videos about a week ago because I felt like this was a little bit rushed. I like to talk a little bit more about the items, but we ran on for 24 minutes, and I feel like if I hadn't waited so long, I would have been able to talk a little bit more about them. But it was still a good video. I'm going to put my gross profit up here, but as a reminder, this is gross profit. This does not include fees or taxes or any of that. Shipping is irrelevant because I charge my buyers shipping. And also, as a reminder, I don't do this full-time. This is not my full-time job. I just do this for fun. I enjoy the thrill of the hunt, and if I can make some extra money to pay for my Starbucks, that is fantastic, because let's face it, Starbucks is expensive. $7 for a cup of coffee? I mean, are you for real? But so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to go check out some of my shopping videos, both here and over on my Relic Recovers channel, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.